There's a lot of different tech out there. So tech selection. That's what we're getting into here. Why are we selecting what we selected? What can we change? What can we improve? There's a lot of different stuff within tech in general. Of course, you don't need everything, right? There's a lot of different stuff. Some people will try to sell you on everything. There's really no point, right? I mean, you only need certain things within tech. There's a lot. So, what we need to start out with is, sorry. So we have a problem, right? So what tech do I actually need? That's the biggest question here. And then the trap is kind of like everything, right? We just think complicated with competent, right? Because all this stuff's complicated. Well, no. I mean, like if you can understand complicated stuff, but the simpler it is, the better. And if someone can't translate it into simple terms, they probably don't know it either. Because how do they translate it? You know what I mean? So that's what to get into here. That's like the biggest problem. So how do we fix it, right? We think like a chef, more or less. So if we have someone who has a specialty in something and they explain it to us, we understand that, and then we see like what tools do we need? Do we need a pan? You select it out of the kitchen. So we'll go through, we'll look at some misconceptions, some guidance along the way, of course. So the big thing to focus on here is complexity does not equal competence. So the more simple something is, the more competent someone normally is as well. So you can always call support, don't get me wrong, and what you need. They might try to sell you, that's another big thing. So just understanding what you need out of the basket, out of the beginning, like before you go in, can save you a lot of money in the long run. So you want to start with the job. So the first thing is to get your context. Problem. So the first thing is the problem, of course. So the problem is, why, details. There's a lot of other things that go into the context, but just understanding it, so understand, that's the first thing to do, is understand the context. Why do I need tech? Is it a Wi-Fi problem? Is it a website problem? Do I need everything? There's a lot of different things. We're going to look at the job, the tool, and then your first tool, right? But you want to start with the context of the job, right? So there's a lot of different terms that are more or less complex with the tech stack, meaning what are you using? There's a lot of different things that do the same thing. So there's a lot of different hosting platforms, there's a lot of different coding languages, but what are you using specifically for your website, and is it the perfect option for you, right? And this is more hands-on tech-wise, the tech stack stuff. Anyways, we don't need to focus on all that really super techy stuff, just like the general understanding of what we need, right? We don't need Wi-Fi if our Wi-Fi is working. We don't need, these basic concepts that you don't need to go in the weeds for to understand if someone's trying to pull like a rug over your head, right? Like you don't need a bunch of different subscriptions to things. You just don't. Not for a small business website, not for a lot of websites. So what is your foundation? Are you doing WordPress? Are you doing Shopify? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? How are you hosting that? Do you have a domain? Who are you going to use your domain through? So the first things are the general needed. So things like, it's like Wi-Fi, domains. There's a lot of other things like Google Business. So, we dive into a lot of these, but just look at what you actually need. Do you want a website? Do you want to just be listed on Google? Do you want to have a Facebook page? Do you want to do everything yourself? Do you want to hire somebody out? There's a lot of different things to look at and what you want, right? The website isn't too complex. Wi-Fi can get expensive, and Google Business is free, right? It just takes a little while to set up. So the only if you need it drawer, right? Like the function drawer, you want to use probably AI. So specific tools. First you want to do is find it with AI. So AI is great at translating speech to text, right? Into what I need here. Do I need to just unplug the router, plug it back in? That's pretty common, right? The specific tools, there's just so many of them. There's like thousands of specific tools out there for certain jobs. And there's also, you can call support, ask them what they do. You know what I mean? Don't ask them, should I buy this? Ask them, what do they do? There's SSL certificates. There's a lot of other stuff out there that you need and that they get you away with. They get away with, right? Because they can upcharge it, but you need it. So why, you know, why does all of these different, or why do, like, we know the biases, why do they still work? So the biases or the tricks being pulled over your head, they work because it's human nature, right? That's just how we're programmed in society. So that human nature applies to everyone. Sometimes if you realize it, like if you realize that it's happening, you can like reverse the effects, right? You can challenge it in your mind, but you have to be conscious of it and conscious of the other thing. So that means you're not conscious. You know what I mean? It's very, it gets into some weeds there. But yeah, so basically every effect works on everybody, right? If this is $1.99, I'm gonna click that, but then $5 a month for SSL. You know what I mean? Stuff that doesn't cost them anything, but they can hike the price up on you. So what is the cost of just pushing a bunch of stuff together, not planning this stuff out, not planning out your tools? So what's the cost, right, of not planning? So the cost of not planning is it increases the price. Not only does it increase the price, it increases the time needed, and then it just really makes everything all around worse, right? Like when you have to go around certain things. Now there's different ways around it, and depending on your tech guy, he might even translate it for you. But let's get into some myths first. So a real business needs a big tech stack. That's not true. If it depends on what you're doing, right? A tech stack doesn't need to be huge if you're not doing a lot. So more features means a better tool. That's not true as well. You know, more features, the quality of each feature. Look at reviews. Look at call support. Ask what they have. See the pricing. You know what I mean? Just make a best judgment there. So enterprise grade or AI powered must be better. Nope, not at all. People just throw it out. Doesn't mean anything. I should set up all my tools now so I'm ready. You don't need to do that either. You know, like your specific tools, you're gonna have no idea how to set them up anyway. So the best breed, or no, okay. We'll move on to the next one. Free tools aren't good enough for a business. That's not true as well. You can start off free, pay them if you need specific other things. A lot of them have like just buy this once, or but like hosting's monthly because it's a monthly, you know, thing. You're actually being hosted somewhere. Once you pick your tools, you still have a lot of ways to go. You know, you need either you're an IT person or do it yourself, understand all the tools, planning everything. So the last thing to do here with all the tools, all the myths, is to make your plan. So you want to make a plan. And what do I mean by that? So you want to write it out. This helps you analyze it. So after you're done writing it out, you want a one-page document, like kind of like a resume almost of what you need, why you need it. You're going to show it to a bunch of the IT people, so they'll give you a more accurate quote. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different things for them to look at and to analyze. But let's start over quickly with this quick recap. And again, this stuff, you know, this stuff specifically, like your notes doesn't take time, but for the things to be shown on the website, it does take time as well. So first thing, right? Figure out the context of the problem. Then we gotta go to the general tools needed and then the specific ones. The specific ones you can use AI. General ones, typical for most, you can just Google it, use AI, it doesn't really matter. But there's a lot of different tools out there. The specifics aren't really important, just what you need in general. So the bias, the tricks, they're gonna work on everybody, even if you realize that sometimes it works on you still. So the cost of not planning is to have a really bad working experience with a support guy, doing it yourself, having an IT guy. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong here that can cost you a lot of money, right? So then you want to make your plan, write it out, one page, try to get it as summarized as you can, and show it to all the IT professionals for a quote, right? So that's the main gist of everything. I hope you learned something. Again, if you want to email me, my email is in the, It's in the description, along with a lot of other things. Phone number, contact me any way you want. But yeah, so that's the main gist of it. Those are the 6 steps to understanding, right? Like, why does all of these planning and all of the tools matter so much? Costs you a lot of money, especially if you're doing it yourself. And an IT person, you should ask them about the tools they use as well. Because if they don't have any tools, like, okay, what makes you not an IT person now? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of doing that? So you can do it really